it's the old man here. We got fresh straw, we got lady, we got the guineas there, and so it's story time. I wanted to wrap up some more about Fir Island flood. I got to get this cord out of the way. Lady got caught in it and almost pulled the camera over. Yeah, she's trouble. That's what I should have named you. Trouble. She's a good girl. So yeah, part 2 of the floods on Fir Island. I got out the old newspapers and it did break twice. I looked it all up, and when it flooded and it tore open the first time, they passed it up within a foot of the top, and took a day off, and during that night, I don't know when it happened, but the water came up again, ripped that whole dang thing out, and they built a new dike. And this one, like, here's the dike, they built an arch, like a semicircle, so they could work on that dry. And like I say, those 1 truckloads, that thing was bad. They were just, couldn't go 20 miles an hour with a rock on there that big, and they dumped probably hundreds of them in there. And the cleanup. Until you've seen it, you can't imagine what all floats. I mean, I saw pictures of a guy's house, and dog food, dry dog food had floated all over the kitchen. It looked like a layer of gravel on top of the water. And a lot of canned food floated. I think Diet Coke floated. Anything plastic, anything wood floated. I mean, there was crap everywhere, and stuff you wouldn't even imagine that would float by. A big job. I mean, the cleanup took a long, long time. And after all the smoke had cleared and everything had kind of died down, the Mennonites came in droves, and came in without asking anything. And they did sheetrock, and they did carpentry, and they did carpet repair. I mean, they came in and cleaned up, and God bless them 100 times. That's what life's all about, is helping your fellow man. We live in a world that everyone's so mad about everything else. They don't want to help a man on the street, or they don't want to, but you reap what you sow, and if you're good, I think it all comes back. Hey, leave that alone. Just chipping on that wire. Yes, you. Very, very sad time. I went to a friend's house, the Detzes, and everything was soaking wet. And I thought, well, I'll get a fire going, and that'll kind of, give us something to stand around. I couldn't even do that. The firewood was all soaking wet. I couldn't do it. I left there really bummed. It was like, this is really bad. And the last things we did, the porch had floated away from their house. And Eric and I pushed it back in place, and it's still there. Never nailed it up or nothing. We just pushed her up against the house, and there she sits. Worked good. And that house, they lucked out. It came within 3 inches of hitting. There was a 3-story house, so the basement flooded, and then it flooded up to within 3 inches of the upstairs floor. And if those would have got wet, it would have buckled all that bone-dry fur and just been a heck of a mess. But it didn't, so that was a good thing there. But many, many houses didn't make it. The old house we lived in on Fir Island, it had a log had punched a hole in the south wall, I guess, and just flowing back and forth just ripped the whole side out. It's a bad, bad deal. And it's going to keep happening until they clean the rivers. But, well, with that all said, the next story is going to be about downtown Seattle in 1968, 69, when we were kids. I was 13, 14. A guy I watched on YouTube, Jacob the Carpetbagger, he goes to like oddball road stands, the world's biggest, or the strange museums and all this stuff. Well, he came to Seattle just to check it out, and He was at Pike Place Market, and I got me thinking about what that place was like when I was a kid, at 13 and 14. That was not a place for women or children. It was a bad town. From there to Pioneer Square was Skid Row, and I'll tell you more about it. Like they say, make them laugh, make them cry,